The Beatles were far more than a legendary music group. They were a cultural revolution that reshaped the global music landscape. However, behind their iconic success was a deepening divide between the band's central creative forces, Paul McCartney and John Lennon. What began as an extraordinary musical collaboration slowly unraveled due to personal friction, business disputes, and creative disagreements, ultimately leading to the band's dissolution. Paul and John first crossed paths in 1957 as teenagers in Liverpool. They would go on to form the core of the Beatles, co-writing a vast catalog of hit songs that defined an era. Their chemistry was remarkable. Paul, a meticulous craftsman with a flair for melody, and John, a bold innovator with an unfiltered edge. But after the sudden death of their manager, Brian Epstein, in 1967, the unity began to crumble. Paul advocated for Lee Eastman, his future father-in-law, to manage the band, while John, with the support of George Harrison and Ringo Starr, sided with the more combative and divisive Alan Klein. This disagreement marked the beginning of serious internal conflict. By September 1969, John privately informed the band that he intended to leave. On Klein's counsel, he withheld the announcement to avoid jeopardizing pending business matters. Then in April 1970, Paul publicly declared his departure while promoting his debut solo album. The press placed the blame on Paul for the Beatles' breakup, though John had made the decision months earlier. Reflecting on it later, Paul remarked, "It wasn't me who broke up the Beatles. That was Johnny." The tension continued to escalate. Paul took subtle jabs at John and Yoko Ono in his solo track, Too Many People. John retaliated in full force with the scathing How Do You Sleep, a track aimed directly at Paul's legacy, including the sharp lyric, "The only thing you done was yesterday." Their feud extended into personal correspondence, including a notorious letter from John to Paul and Linda, expressing his anger over their criticism of him and Yoko. Yet, despite their public falling out, reconciliation quietly began in the mid-1970s. In 1974, the two informally jammed together, and in 1976 they shared a lighthearted evening watching Saturday Night Live, even joking about an on-air offer of $3,000 for a Beatles reunion. They nearly accepted the invitation on a whim, but ultimately never followed through, leaving fans to wonder what might have been. Their final conversation happened by phone in 1980. John spoke warmly about enjoying life at home, and the call was filled with affection and humor. Tragically, just days later, John was murdered outside his New York City home, leaving the world in shock and Paul in grief. In response, Paul composed Here Today, an emotional song written as a letter to John. The piece resonates with sorrow and tenderness, expressing unspoken sentiments and a deep, lasting bond. The complex relationship between Paul McCartney and John Lennon wasn't merely a clash of egos. It was the poignant journey of two friends, collaborators, and competitors navigating fame, evolution, and personal growth. Despite the conflict, their affection endured. Today, their musical and emotional legacy continues to resonate, a testament to one of the most powerful partnerships in rock history.